The alarm rings at precisely 6 o'clock in the morning, and before your eyes even fully open, the invisible architecture of your life begins to assemble itself. You do not just wake up, you prepare for a performance. Every movement is calculated, every response pre-recorded, every flaw meticulously swept beneath the heavy rug of a polished exterior. To the outside world, you are the definition of composure. Your desk is organized, your emails are articulate, your smile is steady, and your clothes bear no wrinkle of the quiet storm raging underneath. People look at you with a subtle blend of admiration and envy, whispering about how you somehow have it all together, navigating the heavy currents of life with effortless grace. They see the pristine facade, the towering fortress of competence you have spent years constructing brick by brick, and they assume the interior must match the architecture. They could not be further from the truth. Beneath that immaculate surface, behind the calm eyes that meet theirs in professional settings, there is a sprawling, chaotic earthquake zone that you live in perpetual terror of exposing. It is not merely the fear of making a mistake. Ordinary people make mistakes and simply move on. For you, a misplaced file, a delayed response, or a slightly imperfect presentation is not a simple error, it is a catastrophic breach in the dam. It feels like the universe is about to witness the devastating truth, that you are a fraud, that the structural integrity of your entire existence is hanging by a single, fraying thread, and that the moment anyone looks too closely, the illusion will shatter into a million irreparable pieces. This is the heavy, exhausting tax of perfectionism. It is not driven by a desire for excellence or the joy of achievement. It is driven by raw, unadulterated panic, the terrifying conviction that if you stop holding yourself together with absolute rigidity for even a single second, the chaos within will spill out and swallow you whole. You carry this invisible weight into every room you enter. While others are listening to a conversation, a part of your brain is constantly running background diagnostics, scanning the environment for any sign of disapproval, any subtle shift in tone that might indicate you are slipping, that you are becoming less than indispensable. Your mind is a relentless courtroom where you are simultaneously the defendant, the prosecutor, and the terrified judge, reviewing every word you uttered hours ago, dissecting every micro-expression, and finding yourself guilty of not being quite good enough, quite smart enough, quite put together enough. Overthinking is not just a habit for you, it is your permanent state of residence. You analyze your own thoughts until they dissolve into a gray fog of exhaustion, trapped in a loop where rest feels dangerous because rest implies letting your guard down, and letting your guard down means inviting exposure. The tragedy of this condition is the profound, bone-deep loneliness it breeds. You are surrounded by colleagues, friends, and family who care about you, yet you feel entirely unseen. How could they see you when the person they are interacting with is a character you meticulously play to keep them safe from the truth? To be loved for your perfection is a unique kind of isolation, because you know deep down that they love the armor, not the fragile, shivering entity hiding inside it. Every compliment you receive feels like a debt you are forced to pay with interest, increasing the pressure to maintain a standard that becomes more unsustainable with every passing day. You find yourself retreating further into solitude not because you dislike people, but because the effort of keeping the mask intact in social settings leaves you hollowed out, drained of every drop of emotional currency. Sometimes, late at night, when the house is entirely silent and the blue light of your phone is the only illumination in the room, the exhaustion overtakes the anxiety. You look at your hands, and they feel like they belong to a stranger. You wonder who you would be if you stopped running, if you allowed yourself to drop the heavy bags you have been carrying for miles without a single complaint. But the thought of dropping them brings an immediate spike of adrenaline, a sharp, cold grip around your chest. No, you tell yourself, not yet. Not yet, because if they see the mess, they will leave. If they see how overwhelmed, how fragmented, how utterly lost you feel inside, they will realize that the competent adult they trusted was just a frightened child wearing oversized shoes. So you swallow the lump in your throat, wipe away the phantom dust from a surface that is already spotless, and brace yourself for another day of guarding the secret. Yet, as the years accumulate, a quiet realization begins to seep through the cracks of your rigid defenses. The chaos you are so desperately trying to hide from the world is not actually a monstrous failure, it is simply what it means to be a human being trying to navigate a messy, unpredictable existence. The terror of being found out loses a fraction of its paralyzing grip when you finally admit to yourself that nobody is truly holding it all together. The people you admire, the ones who look so invincible from a distance, are likely fighting their own silent wars behind closed doors, wearing their own invisible armor. The frantic need for perfection is not a shield protecting you from harm, it is a cage of your own design, locking you away from the very connection and grace you crave. You do not need to fix everything today, and you certainly do not need to be flawless to be worthy of taking up space in this world. You spent a lifetime building walls to hide the storm, only to realize everyone else was standing in the rain.